everybody. I'm Meredith, and I'm with the Brahma Kumaris in Miami, the Miami Center, where we do meditation classes almost every night of the week. And we have a special guest tonight who's also been with us many times in the past, is Kristina. Hello, Kristina. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you.
You
Kristina
too.
lives in Naples. And tonight we're talking about boosting your spiritual energy. And, I was just thinking about things, and what came to me was, people are so into boosting their physical energy, right? I have friends that they can't go a day without their green drinks and doing exercise. Of course, these are all really good things, and just things that they can do to boost that physical energy and feel better. And of course, that's very, very helpful. And we need to be in good health. But at the root of it is that spiritual energy. Kristina, don't you think? I mean, that's what drives the physical energy, and you have to take into account how is your spiritual energy.
Yeah, I tend to think of it, Meredith, like the soul is like the battery. It's the part that holds, the soul is energy. And it's sort of, we have all of these different aspects when we're in the world, like a physical body. We also have a subtle sort of energetic system, and we have, our feelings, our emotional system. But the thing that's powering all of it is the soul. So that is the seed, right? Ultimately.
So what that means, Kristina, is we do have, as we do in Raja Yoga meditation, is we have to make effort to improve the soul, right? And when I say improve, it means to bring the soul up to a level where there's nothing interfering, to make the energy depleted. And there's a lot of things that we need to do, because again, as you're saying, that if the soul is not in good shape, the soul is hurting, the soul is sad, the soul is upset, the energy, our energy is never really going to improve. I think exercise is important, right? And, green drinks and all of that. And it does help, but to really keep that energy, that positive energy, that powerful energy, it requires some effort.
Yeah, it's like the inside out approach, right? I mean, I'm sure we all know what it feels like to try, a certain health routine and feel better. But do we all know what it feels like to increase and boost our spiritual energy and see how that affects the physical body? Everybody may not have that experience, but it is possible. And that's a totally different kind of energy from the soul that's sort of bringing more vibrancy to the body and more lightness and brightness and everything.
Yeah. And you feel so good when you're at that level. And I know that we, of course, believe in it and we understand it to, some extent. We're working on ourselves all the time with this, with, our meditation practice, but it's not so easy. I mean, it's something for me, I'll speak for myself, right? For some people, maybe it's easy. I feel like I have to monitor myself, which means to me, almost like put a heart monitor on it, when they give you a heart monitor. I've never had one, but I've seen it, where they're monitoring your heart to make sure your heart is kind of stable. I think we need a soul monitor, just checking in with the soul every day and saying, okay, soul, are you okay? I mean, I don't do it exactly like that, but I do try to monitor what I'm feeling and what I'm going through.
Right. Yeah, that would be nice if there was a device that could tell you, how much energy the soul has today. But I think, you can, once you get used to what boosts your spiritual energy, then you can notice when it's high, when it's low, when it's just medium. And like you're saying, you can feel it, on a subtle level. Yes.
Yeah, I bet there is some kind of a monitor out there. Some scientists now working on this. I know there's a lot of spiritual scientists that are working on. People have told me that they've gone to people that can see their light, or, I haven't really experienced that, where anybody could check in with my soul energy, in a way, is what it is, my spiritual energy. Though I'm thinking about acupuncture. They're actually often in tune, and they can kind of get in tune with what's going on inside. So it's really the inner work. That's where we're working from. So for me, and I want to hear about you, does it, yeah. How
one
do you
thing
get there?
I have you, just as one quick point on the monitoring, sometimes when you're really in a really good space spiritually, your eyes shine brighter. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Like there's more light in your eyes, and you
Beautiful.
kind of sit up taller. There's more energy in even in your spine in a way. So I think there are some things we can see physically if we think about it that do show up a little bit. But anyway,
I like
let's go
that.
back
I
to
like the
your
eyes shining. If you get up in the morning and your eyes look, not that we should be looking at ourselves every second, but we do, you get up, you check yourself, right? If your eyes feel sort of dull, then something is lacking. For me, what I notice is my mood. If I get up in the morning and my mood is off, meaning I'm just a little bit, I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm not focused. I'm feeling sort of a little bit, it's not always a bad mood, but it's not a great mood, because I know myself after I've been meditating with, my regular practice, the mood changes. And if you've been meditating with a group of people, magic happens, doesn't it?
yes, yeah, like you lift off the ground.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember years ago when I first started meditating and I came home, I'd been at a meditation retreat. And it was my first one where everybody goes to meditate, and take classes. This was in Tampa. And I came home and my husband didn't really know much about what I was doing then. And I walked into the house and he was like, what happened to you? What? He was, he couldn't believe it. He saw something different in me, this experience, he could feel it, the energy. And what I find is when I'm feeling that way, I never feel unhealthy. I never, if I'm feeling down or something's lacking, then I can feel a little bit, not sick, but a little bit off physically. But when you're at that level, and that's what we're going for, aren't we, Kristina? To be at that level.
It's
Be
like a
nice all the time.
spiritual vibrance, like a spiritual vibrance.
Yeah. And it, excuse me, it really does require vigilance, watching. Again, as I was saying earlier, we were saying the monitoring before it gets out of hand. And what I'm thinking about is, maybe somebody said something to you last week and it bothered you or hurt your feelings or whatever, or got you angry, and if you get up and you're still dwelling on that and it's still really kind of annoying you, then it's time for some kind of reassessment of your feelings, right? Of your thoughts.
Right.
Because that will bring you down your energy, your spiritual energy.
Yeah, maybe if we think of that word like vibrancy, spiritual, then you have to be vibing, like you have to be surrounded in those vibrations internally and externally. So if you're like focused on, you're feeling the negativity of a situation, or your mind is going around a situation negatively, then you're vibing, the vibrations are at a lower level, and you're not going to be in that vibrant place, that more elevated, vibrant place. And you're going to feel drained of your energy for sure.
Again, and you really do lose your sense of self. It's almost like, I feel that we're here to become the best we can be, the best, right? At our highest level, like the best day of our lives. We should even be better than that. The day that, I don't know, had a special birthday or a special event, or something really great happened in your life. And but then the rest of the days are kind of, some good, some bad. I really feel that we can be at that level. But again, it does require, really some work. I don't like to think of it as work, but just attention. It's like even physical, if you work out every day and you walk and you do something that's good for you physically, if you keep ignoring it and doing it one day and then 3 days later you don't, which I do that sometimes, I don't it doesn't show up in that feeling really good physically. So I think it's the same thing spiritually.
Right. It's also connected, right? Like if your mind or your emotions, if you're going through something there that's pulling your energy down, you're going to feel it physically. So you can really tell a lot based on the way that you feel, like where your thinking is, where your emotions are. Yeah, it's just like tuning into that. Where's my energy today? Is it high? Is it low? And without
It's
judging
interesting.
it, just
Yeah,
observing it and then
good point.
making a change.
So when do you
Yeah.
do that? When do you observe what you're feeling? In meditation or before meditation or later?
Well, I think from, 17 years of studying and
Mm,
practicing Raj Yoga, my energy stabilized and into that peaceful, more powerful place because of the years of practicing every day. So what I tend to have to check it. If I feel a dip in that, then I'm very aware that I feel different because the stability of the meditation has given me, a higher level of energy to live in. So when I feel something pulling me down or out, maybe it's someone else's energy, someone else's mood, or a situation, then that's the point. That doesn't happen very often. So when it does, that's when I go to correct it. And the thing that I've been using lately is I made an acronym. I think it's fun to make acronyms, and you can all try it for yourself. But the acronym I made for myself when something pulls me out of my center is BOAT. So it's first I just breathe, and I just breathe deeply. And then I observe what I'm feeling. And then I accept my feelings and the situation. And then I transform it, I transcend it. So for me, I'm usually in that space where I feel calm and peaceful. So when I'm not, if something is anxiety causing or worrisome, then I go to this boat, this sort of lifeboat, breathe, observe, accept, and then transform. So I think it depends on where you're at in your practice. If you're just starting to meditate, I think then you would need to check in, more regularly. We have that practice of traffic control, which, 1 minute every hour in Raj Yoga, you breathe and you sort of just come back to center. But I think once you've been meditating a long time, you're more stabilized in that peaceful place. So then you need a tool that when something starts to pull you out of there, you're very aware of it, obviously, something that can bring you back to center. So for me, that's what I've been using is that boat exercise.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, let's repeat that again. Boat, right?
Boat.
Breathe.
Right.
What's the
observe?
Observe. Breathe, observe. You can write this down out there, right?
Breathe.
Breathe,
you breathe.
Observe.
A verb, accept.
Accept.
And then transform.
Transform.
The T could be transform, transcend, and some situations require you to think about them. They're kind of a stressful situation, but you don't want to think while you're still stressed. And that's why you breathe first, then you observe, then you accept, then you can either think, transform, or transcend, depending on what the situation requires. And that can sort of bring you back to center. And I find that when I do the breathing, it relaxes my nervous system. And when I observe, it makes me sort of step back from the situation and realize it's not me. Or let's say it's another person's energy. I observe, okay, I don't have to take their energy on. And then I accept the situation, my feelings, and then I go to whichever T is necessary. So that's really been easy to remember.
I love it. Sometimes it is me, though. I mean, sometimes something irritates me and I get angry, or, I don't know if I get angry the way I did in my, earlier years, but something, oh, there's a word that somebody I know uses. And so it's not anger. It's like, I'm peeved. I don't know if you ever heard that. I'm peeved means like I'm annoyed. Things sometimes annoy me and I have to just calm myself down. And sometimes I try to change it right away. If I find myself annoyed, I try to just not even wait, because I'm aware now of when I react like that. And I just try to calm down and not affect other people if something bothers me or something, and I think a lot of it has to do with in relationships, doesn't it? With when you're relating to someone and maybe they do something you don't think is right, or they say something, and it's so easy to get off, like you could be going and
Relationships
having,
are huge because
yeah,
especially the people you're closest to can more easily pull you out of your stage of, say, where you want to be spiritually vibrating, your spiritual energy. But what you said about the self, I mean, a lot of the time we get pulled out by our own thoughts and our own feelings. And I think that exercise still works, because if something is causing you angst, frustration, or anxiety, and you first just stop and you just start breathing deeply, it starts to relax your nervous system. And then you can observe what you're feeling. Oh, I'm feeling this frustration. And then even if it's with yourself, and then you can accept that you feel that way. And then you can move. Once your sort of whole system is calm, you can think more clearly, I find, and you even distance yourself from the feeling. Like when you observe, you can say, oh, I'm feeling angry right now. And then it's okay. It's okay. And because as soon as I find that I accept what I'm feeling, then it naturally starts to transform. Like it doesn't take over you, and then your energy stops dropping, that spiritual energy stops kind of getting hijacked, and you kind of reclaim your center. You reclaim the power in that situation.
I love those words you're using, reclaim your center and taking back, did you say taking back the power? We all are
Yes.
empowered. We have this power within us connecting to the soul, but we forget, we lose the power, right? We just lose our power, and it can happen in a second when we're least expecting it. So it's really good to have these little methods, and have a regular practice, because again, as we're saying, is then you know yourself and you know what it bothers you, and not to judge. It's not about judging yourself and saying, oh, I was terrible I did this or that. I feel like, yes, okay, I did it. I said it. I feel bad that this happened, or that I reacted that way. But I always feel like release. What is it? The meditation, release and peace.
Oh, that's nice. Release and peace.
Just
Yeah.
release and peace. I want to say one more thing, because I think we're almost out of time before you're going to do a meditation with us. That, Kristina, you've had a very interesting life, because you lived at a retreat center, the Peace Village Retreat Center. For how many years were you there? A long time?
I was there for 4.5 years.
Oh, so you must have. So for those who have never been to a meditation retreat center, the Brahma Kumaris they have some fabulous retreat centers, which I don't think they're open right now anywhere, are they? Yet? Yeah, they will.
But they do some online programs. Yeah, like if you go to Peace Village or Anubhuti's websites, and you can look on the Brahma Kumaris website, I think they both have online programs happening. Yes.
And you'll feel that energy, right? And I know from you having lived in a retreat center, I can't even imagine. I've been there many, many times for a few days, 5 days, but I've never lived in the center. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's, all problems just dissolve, right? They don't. We all have things to deal with, but I can imagine, and from what I've heard, and I've been to the retreat centers spent a lot of time in India and England in the past, that it's something very magical, isn't it? To be where you're just meditating, taking classes, doing hikes, but you were also working. I mean, you were helping, teaching, and doing all kinds of things there.
I think, of course, that experience was really invaluable in every way. But I think no matter where we are, like, you live at home and you've been going to the center for a long, long time. And like you were saying, if you have a regular practice wherever you live, it doesn't have to be an ashram type setting, it could be in your own home, but your daily meditation practice becomes it takes you back to that true grounding of the soul. Like, yes, in a retreat center, you can feel it intensified, but even like as you practice every day at home, that, okay, this is my stability, this piece is my original nature. And, this empowerment I feel in my meditation is my true state of being. So when you have that regular practice every day, no matter where you are, then it's really easy to notice if you get pulled out of that center. So your meditation center is inside, really, isn't it?
It totally is. And I love how you said it. You can be doing this wherever you are. You can make your own house, your sanctuary, your own ashram, even if you maybe have one room, a small room in your house, because there's other people in your house. You can't really take over the house. Maybe you can, but if you're alone, but a lot of people aren't. But even just one little bit of carve out some space in your house, right?
Yes.
To meditate every day and think powerful, positive thoughts. And we're going to do that right now with you, Kristina. You're going to
and the centers, like the centers are
yeah.
there online now, which is so great, because even though we can't go necessarily, but we can connect this way. So there's so much support available.
More than I've ever known all these years. And thanks to, what's happened in the world, we have a lot more that people can experience without having to drive to a center or fly somewhere. So it's really good. So why don't we do some meditation with you for the next few minutes?
Sure.
And then I want to give a couple of announcements before we go.
Okay, great. Should we try the boat exercise?
Yes, I like it.
Okay. So let's not feel, but just imagine if in this moment you were feeling concerned about something, worried. So what we could do in that moment where we're off center is we can just start to take some nice deep breaths all the way down into the belly. And you could even put your hand on your tummy, on your heart, one hand, and make sure you're breathing all the way down in. And you really can do this breathing to make you present until you feel your nervous system calm down. So it could be just 3 breaths, it could be 30 breaths. So you just keep breathing deeply, slowly, allowing yourself to relax your muscles, relax your mind. And then as you feel calm, you can observe what you're feeling. Observe the situation like a detached observer. So you are just watching, okay, this is the situation. And as you observe, if it brings you, again, pulls you out of your higher vibration, you just keep doing that deep breathing as you observe. But as you observe as a detached observer, this worry you have or this concern, you start to notice that you realize that you're the observer and you're not that worry. You're the one observing the worry. So you start to create some space here between you and the feeling. And then we can just accept that feeling, accept what you're experiencing right now, accept that worry, concern, anxiety for what it is. And as you accept it, you notice it starts to dissipate even more. And then you can transform it. You can think about it in a new way. Find a creative solution in this silence you're in. In some situations, they're just an automated nervous system response, and you don't even need to go into it. Once you realize what's going on, you can just transcend it. And then there's so many things you could do here, depending on how much time you have. But you could connect in with God, your higher power. Feel that love and energy. And see if there's a message for you in this moment. Maybe a message for how to move forward, or maybe you get an affirmation. And then you just absorb that message into your soul, into the consciousness, into your energy field, into your body. And it could be something simple. You might receive a message like, I love you. So then you feel, I am loved in this moment. Om Shanti.
Shanti. Feel better already. Feel like you just start to feel really energized, but just filled with peace at the same time. But it does have to do with that, really, really working on that spiritual immune system. And the more that you do it, the more you want it. That's what happens. The more you want to meditate, and you want to be in that zone. So I mean,
that is good. That exercise is good sort of in moments of peril or strife internally, but your regular practice, which you can learn through the Miami Center, is really something you don't need to do when you're feeling stressed, but you, like you're saying, you develop a daily practice. But then you could use this in those moments in between where you feel off, So it's not a replacement of it. It's just a little tool to bring you back to what you learn at the center.
And I think the key is to keep learning spiritually, because it can make all the difference in your life. You can do everything else in your life, but if you keep this somewhat kind of a practice, you really will feel good. So I wanted to just tell you about a couple of programs that we have coming up this weekend. This Saturday is a happiness workshop at 10 a.m. And it's just look up Brahma Kumaris Miami on Facebook, Miami Brahma Kumaris on Facebook, or also on the website, miamibrahmakumaris.org. And you can check in for that, I guess, register for that. And then Sunday night, we have a really nice theme, changing the equation, moving forward. And it's in conjunction with World Peace Meditation, which we do once a month. We meditate with people all over the world. And this is also as a tribute to Black History Month. We have some very, very special people Sunday night. We have Asha Walker, who started a whole program on the health in the hood with gardening, community gardening in areas where maybe people don't get vegetables enough. She's amazing. The Miami Heat actually is, she's a partner with the Miami Heat now, Asha. And then Bradley Bennett, a seasoned journalist and very, very accomplished in so much. So they're going to be talking, and we hope you'll join us. That's Sunday night at 6 p.m. So again, just look to Brahma Kumaris Miami site on Facebook or the website and join us. Be with us. We like to be with you. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.